Hi guys, it's Maureen here, and yeah, I know I gave you no warning today that I'm coming in live. I meant to put a post out today saying live at 5 was going to happen today, and totally slipped my mind. So my apologies. Um, I've decided to come in anyway, and if any of you are here, that is great. And if not, then I'm sure some of you will catch the replay once you actually realise I am around. And actually, I've just spotted Mary, you've joined me, so brilliant. Whether you presumed I was coming in or whether you were just spotted me in your news feed, it's great to have you here. Again, just let me know you can see me and hear me okay. Sue, just noticed you popped in as well, so that's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, and hi Mary, hi. And I say today's been a little bit on spec coming in tonight because, being honest, I wasn't 100% sure this morning if I was going to do it. I've had another busy weekend, family around for the weekend, and energy level's not great today, but however, I've listened to my body, had a bit of rest, and meant to put a post to say I'd come in, but I didn't do it. So anyway, it's great that I do have some company, and please feel free to share this. I'm going to be talking a little bit about self-care and self-love and the importance of those things to us all. So, and it's not really a topic that's been asked of me because I hadn't really advertised I was going to do this tonight. Nobody had actually given me a topic as such. So I am open to topics for next week, so feel free to do that. But I just thought it'd be really nice if actually, no, I'm going to choose the topic for tonight, and I'm going to choose one that is really appropriate to me at this moment in time. And it is really in alignment with my position and my, where I am in life right now. So if any of you who watch the replay or are joining and don't know who I am, my name is Maureen Sharphouse. I am a life coach and I'm a life mentor. I'm an NLP master practitioner, trained in hypnosis, trained in lots of different areas of coaching, and just a real advocate for living your best life despite any of the challenges that you may have. I'm a real advocate for being the real you in real life, with real life living, and really making the most of life, no matter what challenges we're presented with. And as some of you will know, if you know me, you know that I have a neurological illness called CRPS, which for me, unfortunately, is multi-site, multi-system, and not really behaving itself very well at the moment. Hence the rest earlier today. So anyway, I'm going to kick off really by just welcoming Mary. Nice to see you. Sue, nice to see you. And yeah, it's really good that you're in here. And I think we've also got, who else have we got? Mohammed. Yeah, great to see you here, Mohammed, too. I see there should be a share button somewhere under this video. So if you want to share it with your friends, if you want to invite anybody in, please do so. I said I didn't really give a lot of notice of this one. So why am I saying self-care and self-love are really important? And to be honest, I think the real reason is that for most of us, as we go through life, we can become our own harshest critics. We can beat ourselves up over mistakes we've made, over not doing what we feel we ought to be doing or should be doing or could be doing, or, and we spend too much of our lives, I think, doing things we feel we should do because we feel obliged to, or we have to because we feel obliged to, putting other people's needs before ourselves. And and that is a biggie, I mean, and I know as a mum and a granny and a wife, and that's something that we do. We do always want to make things right for everyone else, and make it right for our kids, make it right for our grandkids, make the situation right. So very often we do things for other people, and don't always put ourselves first. And we can be really quite critical of ourselves. We can be sort of pull our own confidence down, put our own mindset and positive attitude of living life. We can really pull it down by beating ourselves up over our mistakes, by not putting our own needs as important, by not even acknowledging or listening sometimes to our needs. And sometimes, we get that calling of, our body cries out for a rest. Our body is crying out for nourishment. We feel, that real calling to just escape for an hour, to go and do something. And yet, how often in life do we talk ourselves out of it? Our head kicks in instead. And the logical head kicks in and tells us, oh no, we have no time for that. We should be doing something else. I don't know if that's resonating with you, but certainly in years gone by for me, I absolutely put everybody else before me all the time, and absolutely did not answer what was calling me to do, but did more and more of what I was felt I should do or obliged to do, or just felt I had no choice. And actually, we always have choice. We just don't always choose to see it. We don't always choose to see it. We say we can't do that because. Whereas actually now, with hindsight, I can actually see, well, I could have done it. I just hadn't found the way. And I think, over this period of time for me, especially, at the moment, as all my sort of physical health issues have really kicked off big time again. And as many of you know, I've had them for a long time. I've had over 30 years of neurological things going on. But, in recent times, I've really been more and more called to really take care of myself and really sort of answer what calls me. So if you are one of these people who tends to beat yourself up, who tends to give yourself a real hard time over when things don't go wrong, when perhaps you feel you should have been able to do things or do things better, I really just want to encourage you to flip that. Absolutely flip it. And really start treating yourself as your own best friend with loving arms of kindness and compassion around you. We're very prone as humans and as parents or daughters or sons or wives or husbands or fathers, we're very prone to put our loving arms around our loved ones. We put our acts of kindness towards those we care about. But actually, for us to be truly empowered in a really deep soul and spirit way, we need to put those loving arms and that compassion and kindness around ourselves too. And I really want to encourage you to do more of the things that you feel called to do. Those things that the heart is calling you, the soul is calling you, and those real feelings, that intuitive gut feeling that calls you to say, that actually, I really feel like I want to have space today. I want to go on a walk out in the park today. I want to be in nature. Or your body calling you, saying, actually you need to rest today, or you need to have some nourishment, real healthy stuff today. So I want you to really, it's about self-awareness. And I think, we are so guilty of blocking so much of the time our own self-awareness, because our logical thinking head and overthinking head and mental programming of the past and old ways of thinking, and that feeling obliged to and should do, and fear of judgment and fear of failure and fear of what people will think or say if we don't act in certain ways, they all kick in and they block us from actually really, really listening to what we personally are being called to do. And I really want you to really start creating some space in your life to really listen to what is calling you, and to do more and more of the things that actually you feel called to do, that you have a desire to do, that you feel you have to do because you have a burning desire to do. Not have to because you feel obliged, but have to because you have a burning desire to do. And when it comes to treating yourself, always just flip it and think, well, actually, if this is one of my loved ones going through this, if this is one of my best friends going this, what are the words that I would be saying to them? Because chances are, if one of your loved ones or a really close friend was going through a difficult situation in life, you would be giving them words of support and encouragement. you would be putting loving arms around them and doing care and compassion towards them. So I really want you to start flipping it into yourself and start thinking, well, actually, what is it that I need? I need to treat myself as my own best friend. Because actually, I am the only person going through what I'm going through. I'm the only person feeling what I am feeling. And I am the only person that can be happy as me. You know, no one else can feel what you feel. No one else can do it for you. And, you know, so those loving arms, that kindness, that care, that compassion, that love for yourself, that unconditional love for yourself, even in those moments you maybe haven't done something that you feel particularly proud of, but you need those unconditional loving arms around you to really, in my mind, touch your soul and free your spirit. You know, because to me, our bodies cannot do their best jobs if we do not give them the nourishment, the fuel, the exercise, you know, that real sort of soul, that real nourishment they need. They cannot do our best jobs. And for many of us who have some physical health issues, we need to be really aware of trying to do all we can to give our bodies their best chance of healing. Because, you know, it always amazes me. I had permanent bowel surgery back in about 2002. And I had, you know, a scar. I've got about a 15-inch scar right down my stomach, and where I had bowel surgery. And it amazed me that literally 4 days after that surgery and having all those staples in, the staples were removed and that cut was actually healed. You know, it was actually, the skin was back growing together again. So, you know, our bodies are amazing things. They, you know, they take care of our heart beating, they take care of our hair growing, they take care of, you know, when we cut ourselves and they heal. But we need to really give them the best conditions to do that as much as we humanly can. And that doesn't come from not looking after yourself, not caring for yourself, not treating yourself with kindness or compassion. So for me, you know, that's a really biggie one for me just now, you know, and I'll be honest, I have had an hour in bed today. Because for me, to give my physical body its best chance at this moment in time of doing the best job it can for me, I need to play my part and I need to nourish it and I need to feed it. And again, I really, when it comes to physical, I'm going to talk as well about mental and soul and spiritual in a minute. But when it comes to your physical body, you know, you need to treat yourself with that self-care and compassion. Because if you just keep drive and say, I don't have time to look after myself, I'm too busy looking after everyone else, we're not helping our bodies to heal in any shape or form if they're not working at their optimum level. We are not really playing our part. And, you know, for me, every morning, I sit in very quiet meditation or just quiet breathing, really. And I always ask at the end, you know, ask of my body, what do you most need from me right here, right now? So that you can do your best job for me today. And it may be that some days I hear that I need to go back to bed for an hour, I need to have a rest later. It may be that I feel that I need to get out in nature, sit in the garden. It may be that I feel I really need nourishing food, or I need to eat some healthy stuff, or, you know, or pick up a phone and chat with a friend. But, you know, that's a really good question to ask yourself if you have some physical challenges. And instead of just pushing and driving and getting annoyed with yourself and feeling frustrated at what you can't do in life and getting really despondent about, you know, pain you're in or disabilities you have, you know, really it's about going, listening to your body. Always believe in your body's ability to do amazing things, but do your part by showering it with kindness and care and compassion and love. And acknowledge the wonder and marvelous things that your body can do, and really do your part to create those optimum conditions. So you know, that's a really good way, is just sit in quiet breathing and then ask yourself, ask your body, speak to your body, say, what do you most need from me right here, right now, so that I can help you work at your best for me today. I'm going to quickly just see who's in it and see any comments, and then I'm just going to carry on this conversation about the importance of self-care and self-love. And, you know, we've talking a little bit about physical body, but I want to talk about the importance of it to your mind, and the importance of it to your soul, and the importance of it to your spirit as well. Right, glasses, because I say I can't see. I love the fact, I know, when I'm doing these, I can see comments coming up, but actually I can't read them without my glasses on. So I'm going to have just a quick look and see if there's what comments you've got. Please feel free. Mary and Sue, yeah, you're here. Hi, Sue. Mary's on the newsfeed. Robin, hello, welcome. It's lovely to have you in here today. Lynn, well done, brilliant. I hope your first day went well. Lynn has started a new job today. So Pauline, it's great to see you in here as well. And Mary, I feel a failure as I was always available to help loved ones. Now I'm useless. Mary, I want you to know that all the while you tell yourself you're useless, you will feel useless. And that is the importance of flipping that and actually starting to treat yourself as your own best friend with loving arms of care and compassion and kindness, and actually words of encouragement and support to yourself. And the importance of flipping the mental side of not what you can't do, but really focusing on what you can do. Because for anything that you think you cannot do in life, I will guarantee you will find something you can do. Now, it may be that you're not as physically able maybe to help out family or loved ones in the way you might have been, but you could pick up a phone and support them in a different way, in an emotional way. It may be, for each and every one of us, the things we can't do, if we home in on them, they will start making us feel useless. If we see them as what takes over us, then we can actually feel no good and useless. But that is not helpful. It's actually going to really block you ever really connecting with yourself at a deep soul and spirit level. Because it's like putting blocks, it's putting resistance in the way. It's putting that love for yourself out with your reach. So again, Mary, my heart goes out to you, and I believe in you, and you know that. I'm always telling you I believe in you, and I want you to start believing in you. And again, feeling like a failure does not mean you are a failure. That is just a feel like a failure. It's an emotion that has come from a thought of thinking you're a failure. If you think you're a failure, you will feel like a failure. It does not mean you are. It just means you need to start flipping what you're looking at, flipping what you're seeing, focusing on what you can do, not what you can't do, and really, really start thinking of yourself as your own best friend, saying, well, if this was my best friend going through this, what would I be saying to them? What would I be doing? What would I be encouraging them with? What words would I be sharing? Heather, brilliant to see you here today as well. I didn't give any warning on today's live at 5, so it's actually great to see some of you in, which is really, really good. So again, we've been talking about the importance of self-care and self-love, about why, in life too often we become our own harshest critics, our own beat ourselves up over things we can't do, our own ones that hold ourselves back for fear of what people will say, fear of judgment, how so easy it is to put everybody else's needs first before your own, and why it's really important to really put love in arms around yourself, and that love, you develop that real love for yourself and really care and compassion for yourself. And the truth is, you need to see your happiness as just as important as the happiness of everybody else, and that you deserve it just as much as everyone else around you. So you need to step into that deserving place, and all the while you're always doing everything for everybody else all the time, you're actually putting theirs before yours, their happiness before yours, their needs before yours. And I just want to encourage you to listen to your own needs and acknowledge them, respect them, and honor them as important. And to honor the soul and spirit that you are as this real precious, precious gift within you that deserves your love, that deserves your compassion, that deserves your kindness. Because I say the body, your physical body can't do its best job if we are not listening to it, and if we are constantly just push, drive, and getting annoyed with it when it doesn't work in the way we want to work. And believe you me, mine is not working very well just now at all. But it is not helpful if I start getting really down and negative about it. I need to work with my body and go, how best can I serve you? How can I help you access the healing within? How can I help you work for me at your optimum best? Self-care, self-love, self-compassion, you need to allow that in. And again, your mind your mind cannot possibly do its best job for you if you're constantly feeding it negative, self-critical, or self-judgmental comments or thoughts. It cannot possibly do its best job for you and bring you those feel-good feelings that you deserve if you are feeding it or allowing others to feed it constantly negative, self-critical, self-judgmental, or feelings of failure. You know, that's your mind cannot do, you're blocking your mind being able to do its best job for you. And that those real positive and beautiful emotions and feelings that we are capable of feeling as humans, you know, all the while we stay in our darkness, our sadness, our anger, our bitterness, our grief, our frustration, all the while we stay in those things, that's all we see more of them, and we cultivate more of those. And so we need, you know, as our own advocates for our best physical, mental, soul and spiritual health, we need to really flip into, how can I serve myself best? How can I help my mind work at its best for me and bring me results that serve me best? And that is by treating it with self-care and compassion and love, and feeding it positive, supportive comments rather than beating ourselves up. So again, you know, we've got the physical body can't do its best job if we are giving it such a hard time and not listening to what it needs from us. Our mind cannot do its best job if we're feeding it constantly self-critical, you know, self-critical remarks, negative things, feeding it anger, bitterness, grief, all those things. We cannot possibly, our minds cannot function at their optimum for us. Our soul, I believe, cannot be fully touched. I don't believe we can fully touch our soul if we keep putting resistance in the way. And if we keep putting resistance in the way by being our own harshest critics, giving ourselves our own hardest time, by constantly overthinking, overanalyzing, judging ourselves, going homing in on failures or homing in on a lot of stuff, we are not allowing ourselves that space to move from thinking mode and to down in to connect with the stillness of our body and really touch the real core of who we are. And I am an absolute avid believer that I am not my physical body. I am not my own self-limiting mind. I am soul and spirit. You know, I am me, I'm Maureen. And nothing that I'm going through life alters that. But to be able to access that real safe and secure feeling that I have of being able, of that real knowledge that, you know what, I'm soul and spirit. Whilst my physical body is not functioning in the way that it would be really lovely if it did, it's not who I am. It's not who I am. It's a suit I wear while I'm still on this earth. You know, it's how I function on this earth. But actually, you know, and I think if, you know, to connect with your soul at a deep level, when you do that, you become fearless. But you can only touch that soul completely and fully and wholly when you really connect with that care and compassion, that kindness to yourself, that compassion to yourself, that self-love with yourself, that real loving arms around you, and allow yourself to drop from the head, the ego, all the logical, you know, mental programming, condition that's gone on in the years, that feeling that you should have to be and being somebody you think you should be or shouldn't be and mask onto the world. You need to drop right down and connect with your truest, highest self. Really acknowledge who you are at a deep core level and surround that with care and kindness and compassion and unconditional love for yourself. And I think, you know, all the while we beat ourselves up and give ourselves a hard time and put everyone else's needs before us, we're actually blocking that real connection that we can have with the soul that we are within. And I think, you know, the same also goes for spirit. You know, I think we are all born with wings to soar. And we go through an awful lot of life experiences a lot of the time to learn, to evolve, to grow at a very deep level. And again, I think, you know, we are not able to really connect ourselves fully at a really deep spiritual level so that we can soar and we can fly and we can be that truest higher version of ourselves if we keep clipping our own wings. If we keep clipping our own wings by being negative, self-critical, harsh to ourselves, and just not treating ourselves with the kindness, with the care, with the love that we deserve. Now, I don't know if that resonates with any of you, or whether you're thinking I'm talking about, I'm in woo-woo land here. But all I know is by dropping giving myself a hard time, by dropping fear of failure, fear of judgment, being self-critical, by parking all of that, by giving myself unconditional love, by really acknowledging and accepting who I am, and by really allowing that space to connect with that soul and spirit within, I have within me an amazing deep peace, deep contentment, an amazing strength of I can handle whatever life throws at me. And it allows me to cope with what is really a truly horrible illness and extremely painful in a way that I am very aware it's not who I am, and I can handle it, and that actually inside I still feel a real peace and contentment within. And that has come from love for myself, learning to like and love myself, treating myself with kindness, with care, with compassion, treating myself with encouraging, supportive words on those bad days, those days when life is real tricky, those days when, we just plead, we're almost on our knees for mercy, when, it's when it's so bad. But in those moments, you still have to listen. Listen to what your body's crying out for. Listen to what your mind's crying out for. Listen what your soul and your spirit's crying out for. And actually give it that. Give it that care, that kindness, that compassion, that love. Ask what it needs. What do you most need from me right here, right now? And listen to what the answer is and go do that. Think about what lights you, what lights the fire within me. Go do more of that. Am I happy with the person I'm being right now? That's a good question I often stop and ask myself if perhaps things have got a bit overwhelming for me and maybe pain has consumed me, just to sort of stop and go, whoa, am I happy with the person I'm being right now? Or am I adding into feelings of resentment, feelings of anger, feelings of frustration, feelings of not being worthy of, or in Mary's words, being useless? Am I feeding that? Because actually, if I am, then I need to go, whoa, that does not serve me well. And actually, I need to put my own loving arms around me and treat myself with love and care and compassion and supportive words of encouragement. And listen and give yourself, really what's calling me. What is actually really calling me. And sometimes that means you have to say no to other people. Sometimes, it means putting yourself first and actually not always doing what other people want you to be doing or want you to be, or, sometimes we just need to go, actually, I'm being called, my soul is calling me, my body is calling me to go rest, my soul is calling me to actually have some space today for an hour. So you need to really, it's not being selfish, it's actually respecting and honoring the truth of who you are. Respecting and honoring the truth of who you truly are, and allowing yourself to step into the truest, highest version of yourself. Because all the while you have the harshest critic voice going on in your head, beating yourself up over things, curbing your wings, clipping your wings of your spirit, stopping yourself connecting with yourself at a deep soul level because the mind is constantly giving you all this self-critical stuff. You're actually stopping yourself reaching that real core and being the truest, highest version of yourself. And, as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I am this great believer in that we are here on this earth to evolve, to grow, to learn, to love, to share. We go through a lot of experiences, I think, to allow us then to pass on our knowledge and comfort others in certain ways, which we wouldn't be able to do if we hadn't gone through those experiences. And when our time is up on this earth, I see us as all having a unique function, all having a unique purpose. And we need, a lot of the experiences we have to fulfill that purpose, that it's a journey we're on. It's an educational, mysterious, magical process. And when our time is up and we fulfill that purpose, we're called home. And whilst our physical body may die, our spirit need not. And our spirit does not. And I think, that is just something that is really very resonant for me just now. As in, all this while my physical body is really going through a hard time just now, but my spirit need not. My spirit can still soar and fly, and I can still feel rewarded and content and good at a deep soul level. It just comes down to what I choose to feed myself and how I choose to see myself. So, and again, that's with love and compassion and kindness. Right, I'm going to just have a quick pop over. It'd be interesting to know from any of you if what I've said has resonated with you, if you agree with it, if you disagree with it. And that's absolutely okay if you disagree with some of what I say, if you query, if you question, or if you agree. It's absolutely fine. I'm not here, when I come and do these videos or when I work with my clients to tell people what's right or what's wrong. I'm here to hopefully just open your mind to other ways of thinking, to exploring, to, just if there's something I say that resonates with you, that really just triggers some question or query about yourself, about, some way that you can help yourself to be that even more authentic, truest version of yourself, then I'm doing my best job. I'm doing my job and I'm happy. So, and it's okay if you don't agree with everything I say. It's okay to query your question. Again, I'm being the catalyst here, hopefully, just for a bit of exploring and a bit of thinking for you. And yeah, I think, for me, it's about turning my wounds over the years into trying to share wisdom of where I am, and hoping that, my journey has had a real purpose. My 30 years of pain and neurological illness, there is a purpose to it. And that's why I'm here with you, is here to share a lot of my views on life. And anyway, I'm going to put my glasses on and see if any more comments have come in from you. Yeah, Lynn, brilliant. Don't let your inner voice bully you, Mary, and let it be your cheerleader. I absolutely adore how some of you really are, very supportive of each other. I know, a couple of you have actually reached out private messaging a couple of the others in the last couple of weeks, offering support, and that's been amazing. And, I was always told when I started this page that, when I first started this page, my goodness, in fact, this page is about 3 years old now, 2.5 years old. And of course, I was told at the time, I wanted to build a community here. And I remember being told at the time by somebody who, I had a coffee with, saying, oh, it's impossible to build a community on a page. You need to start a private group for that. And, a private group I may well start at some point, but I've homed in on this page just now. And it's just lovely. It really touches me to see that actually there is a bit of a community forming, and some of you do reach out to each other and have been introduced to each other simply because you follow my page and you're meeting each other through it. You're offering words of support. And again, in the videos, here's Lynn offering support to Mary, which is wonderful. And yeah, and anybody who doesn't know, Lynn is actually my daughter. So it's great for her to be here today. And she's just commented, your physical body is definitely not who you are, Mum. Yeah, my physical body, is definitely not who I am. I say I am that soul and spirit, and I do my utmost every day to shine my light as brightly as I can, despite the physical challenges that I'm going through, which are being, at this point in time, raising their fierce head at the moment. So Heather, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, brilliant. It's lovely to have that comment, Heather. And Lindsay, great for you to join me today. It's brilliant to see you. Lynn, agree wholeheartedly. Mary, I know I feed my mind negatively. If only I would stop. I know you're right, Maureen. Yeah, and there is a difference, Mary, between knowing someone's right or knowing what you should be doing and actually physically doing it. And the truth of the matter is that we only learn in life by doing. That's how we learn. But when we start feeding our mind negatively, that can grow into a negative cycle, which does become more like a default setting for you, and it becomes quite hard to break. So but what you need to really home in on, Mary, is it's a learned way of thinking. And just as your mind has fallen into a bit of a cycle of a learned way of thinking in a negative way, it can be retrained and learn to turn that around and start thinking in a positive way instead. Now, it's not always easy, especially at the outset, and it does take consistency, and it does take a real self-awareness and consistency of feeding your mind in a different way. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and in time, it can become the new default way of thinking. So it is my belief that not anybody is born a negative or positive person. And it's my belief that that is learned ways of thinking. Now, if we think in a negative way, and again, as we grow up, you know, it's not only what we feed our mind that's important. You know, as we grow up, we are fed things by our parents, our teachers, our colleagues, our friends, our bosses, you know, our neighbours, everybody, by newspapers, television, everything feeds our minds. And if it is fed kind of negative comments, you know, a lot, and we replay these to ourselves, you know, it can become quite a learned way of thinking. You know, it's really scary to me that by the time they did some research, and by the time a child is 16 years old, they showed that on average, a child had been told 160,000 times something negative, as in, you're a bad boy, you're a bad girl, you'll never be good at that, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, as to 10,000 positive things. 160,000 to 10,000. Now that is mega, and no wonder as adults, so many of us go through periods of struggling and really struggling to think in real positive, consistent ways. And the thing is, when you think in a negative way, that impacts and brings with it then a negative feeling. If you think that you are useless, you will feel useless. If you think you are a failure, you will feel failure. So, you know, whatever you think will then feed your feelings. And very often those feelings will boomerang back to give you more thoughts. So you can do a little bit of negative thinking, negative feeling, negative thinking, negative feeling. That will, though, it will at some point go into your actions. And if you are thinking and feeling in a negative down way, that will then impact on the actions you take and how you take them. That will impact on the results and outcomes you have. And from there, you will have more thoughts around that. And that is how a negative cycle births itself. From negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative actions, and negative outcomes and results, going back into negative thoughts around that. And before you know it, you have a negative cycle going. And it's very difficult, because the more that happens, the more your brain learns as this is normal behavior, this is normal ways of thinking for me, and it becomes a bit of a default mode. So again, if a strategy is bringing us thoughts or feelings, you know, or actions we're not happy about, we need to interrupt it and start thinking in a different way. But Mary, as you said, you know, there's one thing knowing that that's what you should be doing or could be doing, and another thing, putting it into practice. And it takes a lot of self-awareness, a lot of consistency. You know, if you want to feel more positive, you have to kick it in with the thinking stage. If you are not feeling in a good way and feeling very down, you have to think, what do I need to think or do differently to start feeling different instead? Yeah? What do I need to start or think? What do I need to think differently? Or what do I need to go and do differently to make myself feel different instead? And then the more you can really flip it, you know, remember I told the story a few weeks ago when I did one of these videos about the good wolf and the bad wolf inside of us all. And it's a Cherokee Indian fable. And when they take, you know, the elder of the tribe takes the kid up the top of the hill, gives them the talk, and says, inside all of us, you know, there's two wolves, and they're fighting all the time. One is the positive and good wolf, who's the kind, the caring, the compassionate, the helpful, the one that feeds positive comments, the one that is always there, you know, in a real positive way to everybody. The other one inside you is the negative one, the one that's bitter, that's angry, that fights people, that isn't helpful, that, you know, judges. And they're fighting all the time. And the boy says, well, if they're always fighting, which one wins? And he says, the one you feed the most, that's the one who wins. So you need to starve the negative wolf, that bad wolf inside, and feed the positive wolf, the good wolf. And in time, you will tip that balance, Mary. But that does require consistency, and it does require a real desire on your part to really turn things around. You know, that heartfelt desire for that acknowledgement of, this is where I am now. This is where I am at this point right here, right now. However, it does not mean this is where I always need to be or stay. If I you know, and that's the bit. So you need to acknowledge it, but then go, actually, it might be where I am now. It doesn't mean I'm always going to be here. Doesn't mean it's always where I'm going to stay. If I start thinking differently, doing differently, behaving differently, then things will change. And you have to have that real belief in yourself, as I do, Mary, because I know that you have that power within you to be able to turn this around. Jackie, great to see you here as well. Tuara, so I'm not sure if that's how I pronounce your name, but hi from New Zealand. Brilliant to see you. Do you know my father was born in New Zealand? My father was born in Wellington in New Zealand, and it is on my bucket list to actually come across to New Zealand at some point. I would love to visit and see where my father was born. And my father sadly died in 1991, but it's always been on my bucket list to actually go to New Zealand. So yeah, lovely to have you join us here today. And Lynn, love the Good Wolf, Bad Wolf story. Mary, a good story. Tara, yeah, it's a brilliant story, and it's a really empowering way to remind yourself, you know, just asking yourself every day, you know, and several points throughout the day, just go, am I feeding the good wolf or am I feeding my bad wolf? And if you are feeding that bad wolf in you, that negative one, that bitter one, that angry one, that frustrated one, that, you know, doubtful one, then you need to just go, wow, enough. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. However, I'm going to start choosing my good wolf. So you need to flip it, absolutely flip it, and feed yourself something really positive instead that will bring about different feelings and emotions and will impact on those results. So listen, that is really, today has been about self-care and compassion. Really great to see so many of you up here, because I didn't actually give you warning tonight that I was going to come in. Really due to the fact that I was giving myself self-care and compassion and went for a bit of a rest today as well after a busy weekend. And I'm open to topics for next week, so please, if there are topics in life that you really would appreciate my thoughts on, then please let me know. But to really sum up today, it's about, I want you just to start flipping that way you treat yourself. If you find yourself giving yourself a hard time, feeding yourself self-critical comments about yourself, telling yourself you're no good at this, you can't do that, you're a failure, all of this, you need to stop yourself. You need to instead think about, actually, how would I be speaking to a loved one or a real close friend if this was them speaking or feeling this way? And start doing that, treating yourself in that way. So be your own best friend, your own comforter, your own supportive cheerleader, and put those loving, unconditional, loving arms around yourself. And even in those moments where actually you're not feeling that good about yourself, you maybe not managed to, you still surround yourself with love for yourself. It's okay. It's okay. We can't always be perfect all the time. You know, we would never learn. We would never learn or grow or evolve at a deep level if everything was always great for us. It just wouldn't happen. That's, you know, we need to go through all these periods to learn, to grow and evolve, and to connect with ourselves at that deep soul and spirit level. We need to go through all these things to actually really move through them. You know, as I say, you know, you need to feel things to move through them, to heal them. But you need to have that desire for wanting that deep peace and happiness and contentment and better life and that smile on your face as you go through life. And, you know, asking yourself, you know, your body could take some quiet time breathing every day and then just go, what do I most need to hear right now? Or ask your body, what do you most need from me right here, right now, so that you can do your best job for me? And then again, just thinking about, you know, from your physical body point of view, can't do its best job if you do not give it the nourishment it needs, as in nourishment, and that means at a food level, it means at a, you know, that really emotional level of feeding it, you know, the good vibes and letting it outside in nature and, you know, doing things that really make you feel good, and the fuel, the food, you know, the energy that you need, the exercise you need, you know, so that giving your body, and the rest and the sleep. So, you know, your physical body can't do its best job if you don't give it everything it needs and that nourishment and fuel that it needs. So you have to really, you know, really sort of ask and really do your best for your body. And healing comes in lots of different ways. You know, we don't always get a healing at a full physical level. Some of us have physical things which, you know, they perhaps have not got or will not perhaps in this lifetime heal They may, but they may not. But healing can come in very different forms: emotional, psychological, spiritual, soul level, at different levels. Healing comes in many shapes and forms, but we still need to play our part. The physical body is, the suit we wear, that we inhabit on this earth while we're here. So we need to do all we can for it to serve as well as it possibly can be. With regard to our mind, it cannot do its best job if we are constantly feeding it self-critical, negative comments. That is going to keep it in a self-critical, negative place, which is going to bring not great feelings, not great vibes to us. And actually, for us to work at our best, our mind needs to be focusing in a very different way. At a soul level, I don't believe we can fully touch our soul when we put up resistance to that by, again, being up in that over-critical, analytical, ego, judgmental place. It does not allow us to touch that real sacred space and soul within us, and really allow us just to be the truest version of ourselves, and allow us to step into that real person we are without the mask, without putting on a pretense, without trying to be somebody that we think we should be or ought to be, but actually just allowing ourselves to be ourselves, and to go shine as brightly as we can out into the world as that truest version of ourselves. And then at a spiritual level, I don't believe we can soar. We can shine our light brightly. We can connect with our Creator, whether you want to call that Lord, God, higher self, angels, divine. I personally don't think it's important what we call it. I think it's just important to acknowledge there is a higher presence. And if we want to connect with that and ignite that divine spark within us, then if we keep clipping our wings, if we keep blocking that by treating ourselves in a very negative way without that care and love and compassion, or by keeping fear alive, but we need to move through our fear to faith. We need to develop a real knowing and trust in ourselves, and really allow ourselves to connect with that real bigger presence that puts loving arms around us when we start putting loving arms around ourselves. Okay, any other comments, please put in. And feeling that I am going to go, as you all know, when I do these things at 5 o'clock, I tend to finish off in time for my gorgeous husband Peter to come home so that I can give him my time. Jackie, yeah, it's been lovely to see you. I hope you're really doing well. Jen, oh, fantastic. Jen's coming in from the States, and we've got a bit of a time difference there, but it's really good. Yeah, find you, love you too. Yeah, it's really good. Thanks, Jen, for popping in. Mary, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. And I just long for the day when I know that you are really in that better place and feeling so much better about yourself, with those loving arms around yourself, and able to do all those things that your heart is crying out for you to be able to do. And I believe that day will come, and I want you to really believe that too. Lynn, once I learned to love myself and stop beating myself up, I really started to see the beauty in every day. Absolutely. There is beauty everywhere, in every day and every moment, if we just open our eyes and heart and arms and mind wide, and our soul and spirit wide to see. It is there. And in all darkness, there is light. We just have to crack it, open the darkness sometimes to let that light in. So I think, it's about where you focus. Focus on darkness, you're going to see more darkness. Look for the light, focus on the light, and that light is going to start shining brighter and brighter. And as you say, you're going to see the beauty in the everyday, because to my mind, there's magic and miracles every day in life. Even on those days that might feel quite dark for you, if you really are open to it, there are magic and miracles there. Sending you love and light from California. Thank you, Jen, so much. And Heather, there's a book on the internet called "It's Okay Not to Be Okay." Yeah, that's a saying I say loads, so actually I'll check that one out, Heather. Thank you for that. We'll have a look, because it is okay not to be okay. And that is another part of treating ourselves with love and care and kindness and compassion. And actually going, do you know what? It's okay not to always be okay. It's okay not to kid on to everybody that we're fine all the time. I have learned that big time in recent years, because I used to be one of these people that always had the mask on to the world of it's fine, everything's okay. Even in the days I was really struggling or really in pain, or there was a lot of things going on in my personal life. And actually, it's very freeing when you actually acknowledge that actually it's okay not to be okay. There are days when, quite simply, you maybe don't have that same energy to do things. You maybe don't have that same ability within you or that desire within you to enthusiastically do everything or able to do. And it's okay. You know, I have this, I say to my husband sometimes on my bad days, I'll say, I need to be loved little bit louder today. And that's me, not, on the days where actually I'm really struggling here and my pain levels are through the roof. And anybody that knows anything about CRPS, unfortunately, from the pain point of view, it is registered on the McGill Pain Index as higher than pain of natural childbirth or amputation of finger or toe without anaesthetic. It's one of the worst chronic pain conditions you get. And believe you me, there are times when it is really hard to deal with. But on those days, it's about, I have to just say, it's okay for me not to always be okay and kid on I'm okay or put a mask on. And in those days, it's like, I need you to love me a little bit louder today. And that is, but that goes for me too. It's not about my husband just loving me a bit louder. And usually it just means he just needs to literally go and make that cup of tea or go and do just, it's not a big demonstrative thing. It's just that love and the look from leaves me with his eyes and that love. But it's also saying it to myself, I need to love myself a little bit louder today. So on those days you're not okay, and acknowledge it's okay. This is where I am today. It doesn't mean where I'm going to be tomorrow. This is maybe where this pain is today, but it doesn't mean I need to worry about how it's going to be in an hour or a week or a day's time. This is how my mood is today. It doesn't mean it's going to be the same tonight, tomorrow, the next day. This is just where I am right here, right now. And I just need to love myself a little bit louder. So I need to treat myself with more care, with more compassion, with more kindness. I need to love myself with those loving arms around me and allow myself that space to really allow myself to feel the love of the divine, the love of the bigger presence, the love of our creator too. And yeah, I'm going to check that book out, Heather. It sounds really good, right up my street. Okay, any other questions, comments? I am going to disappear and I will be back in the morning with an affirmation. Might be back before then. You never know. This might trigger something in my mind. I might put up something a bit later. Come back tomorrow with an affirmation. I might actually pop in again live later this week as well, because as I have been talking away, there's actually a subject somebody had actually asked me to talk about, which I'd totally forgotten about. So I might actually try and, pop in again later in the week. But I'll try and give you some warning if I'm coming live so you can join me. So yeah, Jackie, love that a bit louder. Yeah, it's just, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's just, I need you to love me a little bit louder today. And I need to love myself a bit louder today. And that just, to me, it's just like suddenly that overwhelming arms around me love thing, or that look in someone's eye, that just that acknowledgement and that pouring of love to the soul and the spirit at that real deep level. And I think we all need to be our own advocate for our own self-love, as well as, we need to be love to other people too. You have to do love. Love is a doing word. I always think, love, the noun, is the fruit of the verb to love, and that's a doing word. So you have to be love and do love and show love and give love and receive love and be open to love and be in that receiving mode for love, but also be the giver of love to yourself too. So, okay, listen, thank you so much, everybody who's joined live. Please share this if you think anybody would benefit, any of your friends would benefit. Please send them a link to my page if you think they'd really enjoy what I have to say and do. And literally, if you're, I just appreciate you being here. This is very much me answering what I'm feeling called to do, and, making the purpose of all my years of, pain and ill health, and, and the years, these last 2 or 3 years, which have been particularly difficult again for me, this is me answering my calling of putting it to purpose and sharing where I am. And if I can help in any way, reach out, send me a private message, give me a topic for next week. If I can help you in any way, please reach out. Please, share this. It will go on YouTube, this as well. So any of my live at fives, my affirmation videos, any of the videos I do, all head over to my YouTube channel. So please, you know, if you want to subscribe over there, and you'll never miss out on anything. This video stays on my Facebook page too, so make sure to pop by often and catch up. If you're watching the replay, thank you for taking the time. Put your comments in. I will get around to them. I promise you. I will acknowledge and answer any questions or queries. So thank you. Mary, oh, ray of sunshine, that's a nice one, especially on a day today where it's pouring with rain here. I don't know where about you, but here in Milnathort in Scotland, it is pouring with rain and has been all day. So thank you, Mary, Jackie, Lynn, Heather, Jen, Jatwara. I'm not sure how that's, I'm really sorry if that's not how you pronounce your name. It's a beautiful name, and so thank you to coming in from New Zealand. I say it sounds, my father was born there and I just desperately want to go there. On the bucket list. Lindsay, great that you popped in as well briefly. Louise, that's brilliant. I've just noticed Louise. Thank you for coming, Louise. Pauline, Robin, Sue, and let's see if there's anyone else that I've missed that I can spy. Sue, Louise, Decreo, Sabita, Mohammed, Susan, Tahir, Punwaswari, Jim. Yeah, there's quite a few of you have been watching or popping in and out and seeing some of this. So thank you so much for popping in. I hope something that I have shared with you today has resonated in some way. And again, just really take on board, how can I treat myself a little bit kinder? How can I show a bit more of self-love and care and compassion to myself? Am I happy with the person I'm being right here, right now? And if the answer is no, I'm giving myself a hard time, then actually no, that doesn't serve you well and will not bring you different results if you are stuck in a little bit of a not great place. So treat yourself with that unconditional love. Be your own cheerleader, your own best friend. Treat yourself with love, with compassion, and access. By doing so, you're going to access that real ability. You're opening the doors to reach in, letting your spirit soar, letting your soul really connect. You really connect with your soul at deep soul level, really helping your mind work best for you, and also really giving your physical body best chance to do its best job for you while you are on this earth. So take care, love you loads, and thank you for all the support you give me here.